On this video, I'm going to show you how you can buy your first investment property without any income or good credit. What's going on? I'm Bill Allen. If we don't know each other, I'm a military pilot turned full-time real estate investor, and I have flipped and wholesaled over 800 houses in the past few years. And on this channel, I want to show you how to do that exact thing without having to make the same mistakes as me and help you think for yourselves. I just got back from an amazing business conference in Phoenix, Arizona, put on by one of my mentors, and it was for kids. So put on for kids and their parents. I brought my 8-year-old son, Will, and I had a friend who flew up from Florida to Nashville to fly with me. I flew my own airplane over there, and me and my son and him and his 15-year-old daughter, Chloe, we flew over to Arizona together. Well, the interesting thing was they flew in a night before, they were staying at my house, and Chloe was asking me all kinds of questions about real estate. She got free coaching for hours on the couch at my house, and she asked me some very profound questions that I want to talk about here. The first one was, she said, "Bill, how do I get to buy my first house? I want to buy a house when I go to college. So I want to go to college, but I want to buy my first investment house. I want to figure out how to do that." And so it got me thinking in the beginning, she's not going to have any credit, she's not going to have any income, and she's going to be a student going to school. So I think the same thing will apply to you if you don't have good credit, you don't have income, and you might not have the 20% down or 25% down that you think you need to have and you're saving up for a house. So I got put in this challenge, I want to answer it today. So Chloe, great question. What I'll tell you is if you're a young person going to college, you absolutely should buy your first house. I wish that I did this when I went to college. And what I would do is do something called house hacking. So what house hacking is where you buy a house and then you rent out the rooms to friends, other students, things like that. So you live in one of the rooms. Maybe you're getting a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house or a 4-bed, 2-bathroom house. You live in one of the rooms and you rent out the other 3 rooms. This doesn't work for somebody like me. I'm married, I have 3 kids, and my wife would kill me if I rented out all the rooms in my house. But in college, I lived in a house with 5 other guys. So 5 guys from my fraternity. We lived in we called it the 6-man. So we lived in the 6-man. It was right by college. We could walk to school or drive to school. And each of us paid for our own room. However, we rented that from a landlord. The landlord was making all the money, we were paying down the debt, and we were just pouring money into the landlord's bank account. Let's say you could buy a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that your mortgage is $1,800 a month. And you can rent the 3 rooms, so you live in one of the rooms, you rent out the other 3 rooms for $600 a month. So if you rent out all 3 rooms for $600 a month, you're making $1,800. Your mortgage is $1,800 and all of the rent is $1,800. So you're effectively living for free. Not only that, but you're getting appreciation. There's a saying that's been around for a really long time in real estate that rental properties are the ideal investment, IDEAL. So you get income is the I, D is depreciation, E is equity, so you're buying equity and they're paying down equity. You get appreciation and you get leverage. You can leverage the bank loan. So the ideal investment, you get all of these things. So you get income from the monthly rent. You get depreciation by writing off the depreciation of the house on your taxes. You get E as equity. So every time their tenant pays down the principal of your loan, they're building equity. You could potentially also buy equity or add value to the house to earn equity. Appreciation, real estate effectively appreciates over time. It does go up and down, a lot like the stock market and things like that from time to time. But over the long term, it appreciates. And L is leverage. You can leverage your money and the bank's money. So you don't have to put all the money in like you would if you had to buy a stock a lot of times. So that's why it's the ideal investment. Now, the question becomes for Chloe is, I don't have any income, I don't have any credit, I'm a college student, who's gonna give me a loan? And where we went to was her dad was sitting right next to her and I talked about co-signing. So she could actually get a co-signer who she could leverage, even that L word, right? Leverage again, leverage his income, his funds, things like that, and could buy the house that way. We also talked about different types of loans. So there's an FHA loan that is a very low down payment. What it does is it adds private mortgage insurance, PMI, you may have heard that said before. It'll add that to the loan. However, you just got to build that into your numbers. So a very low down payment, sometimes 2.5% to maybe 5% down payment. So you don't have to save up a lot of money to buy one of these houses. And for Chloe to get a co-signer like her dad, maybe she brings her dad into the deal. Hey dad, I'm renting this house out for $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month. The mortgage payment is $1,500. I'll give you $200 a month every single month to co-sign on this loan for me. Or her dad might do it out of the goodness of his heart, right? And what that does is it builds up history as a landlord and a rental owner. So she can live in that house. Now, a FHA loan, you have to live in the house for a certain amount of time. And then there's also a USDA loan. So USDA, yes, the people that do like beef and things like that, agriculture, they also do loans in rural areas, and they're 100% financing. So you can actually get 100% financing in a rural area on a house like that. Now, I don't know if it fits where you're looking, but it's an option. So these are two great loan products that you could use. And what Chloe can do, get the cosigner, buy the house, get her friends in there with her, and rent out rooms and house hack that house. So that's the answer I gave her. She was really excited. And then when I went on to tell her, she said, well, I also want to buy a house when I go to medical school. So after that, I want to move out of that house. I want to buy another house when I go to medical school. I said, well, the cool thing is, if you show history as a landlord, you show it on your taxes, you show the income that you're making for 2 years, what the bank will do is after you move out of that house and rent it out, and so remember, let's say she was renting those 3 rooms for $600 a month, right? $1,800. Her mortgage was $1,800. Well, when she moves out, she could rent out that other room, and it's probably the master bathroom, master bedroom, and maybe she could rent that for another $800 a month. So now she's making $2,600 a month for a mortgage that's $1,800. So she's putting $800 a month in her pocket when she moves out by putting in another tenant in that room. Then what she can do is she can go buy another house. The cool thing, if you're gonna go buy another rental house, is the bank will take your history, if you've been a landlord for two years, showed it on your taxes. They'll show that income as well as the potential future income of your next property. And that's how I was able to stack a bunch of single family rental properties on my portfolio when I didn't make enough income to cover it all. Because they're looking at DTI, debt to income ratio. And that's too low, the bank's not gonna lend you money. But the cool thing is I could take that new house that I was gonna have a mortgage payment of $1,500 and maybe rent out for $2,500 and show $1,000 a month in income before I even bought the house because I had history as a landlord. So some really cool things that you can do. And Chloe, I hope you go buy that first house. Even if you don't have credit, you don't have income, find a co-signer, find somebody that you can work with, and also go talk to your local bank and see what the requirements they're gonna have for you to do that. And that goes for anybody that's watching this. If you do have some income and your credit's a little bit low, you might be able to find a cosigner or somebody else that will put their credit and their income on the line for you. And maybe you partner, maybe you work together and figure out how that is a good fit. This is all about figuring out how, not saying I can't because of X, Y, and Z. Try to figure out what can you do, how can you do it, and there's lots of different ways. On the next video, I'm gonna talk about something that I absolutely love to do, and this is to buy a rental property with other people's cash and then refinance my money back out and have zero money in the deal using a strategy called the delayed financing exemption. So stick around for that video.